Welcome, traveller of the waking world. You have found your way to this sanctuary of silence, a place where the noise of the day dissolves into the velvet embrace of the eternal night. I am the cosmic dreamer, and I am here to guide you across the threshold, away from the demands of the clock and into the timeless river of rest. Tonight, we shall not walk alone. We shall be accompanied by the oldest and most loyal friends humanity has ever known. But before we find them, let us first find ourselves. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast, tranquil indigo ocean. The sky above is a dome of infinite depth, scattered with stars that burn with a slow, steady pulse, like the heartbeat of the universe itself. The air here is cool and still, carrying the scent of stardust and ancient sleeping earth. Allow your eyelids to become heavy. Let them drop, sealing away the light, sealing away the world you have left behind. Feel the weight of your body sinking into the surface beneath you. It is no longer a bed or a chair, but a cloud, a raft floating gently on this cosmic sea. Every breath you take is a wave rolling in. Every breath you release is the tide pulling out, carrying with it your tension, your thoughts, and your worries. They drift away, dissolving into the dark waters, leaving you light, empty, and profoundly at peace. There is nothing you need to do now, nowhere you need to be. The past is a closed book, and the future is a distant shore that we need not visit tonight. There is only this moment, this suspension in the soft, dark gravity of sleep. As you float here, safe and warm, imagine a presence beside you. It is a presence of pure acceptance, a spirit of unwavering loyalty. Tonight, we explore the soothing reality of the dog, not through lists or data, but through the feeling of their spirit, a journey into the comforting truths of their existence. Let your mind become as fluid as the water, drifting from one realization to the next, bathed in the golden light of companionship. And as we drift back through the mists of time, picture a flickering fire in a prehistoric cave. The night outside is absolute, filled with the sounds of a wild, untamed world. But here, within the circle of amber light, a profound shift is occurring. Visualize the silhouette of a wolf, hesitating at the edge of the shadows. This is the moment, tens of thousands of years ago, when the wild spirit first chose to sit beside humanity. It is a relaxing thought to realize that the bond between human and dog is older than recorded history, older than cities, older than the written word. It was forged in the quiet understanding of shared warmth. Imagine the softness of that first tentative touch, the rough fur against a human hand, a pact of mutual protection signed not in ink, but in trust. This ancient memory lives in every dog today. When a dog sits beside you, they are reenacting that primordial scene, guarding your fire, watching the darkness so you do not have to. It is a lineage of loyalty that stretches back to the very dawn of our consciousness, a comforting tether that connects you to the roots of the human story. From that ancient campfire, the smoke rises and transforms into the invisible currents of the air, carrying us into a world that only our companions can truly see. Close your eyes and imagine the world not as a collection of shapes and colours, but as a symphony of scents. For the dog, the sense of smell is a landscape more vivid than any painting. While we might see a grassy field, they perceive a complex history of everything that has passed through it. Picture the interior of a dog's nose, a miraculous cavern lined with hundreds of millions of sensitive receptors, vastly outnumbering our own. It is said that their sense of smell is tens of thousands of times more sensitive than ours. To understand this scale, imagine if you could see a flash of light from a lighthouse. For a dog, that light would be blindingly bright even if it were 500 miles away. This creates a reality where they can smell time itself. They can smell the past in the fading tracks of a creature that walked by hours ago. They can smell the future on the breeze, bringing the scent of a storm that has not yet arrived. It is a comforting thought that when a dog greets you, they are reading the story of your day, the places you have been, and the emotions you carry, all through the gentle investigation of the air around you. Drifting deeper into this sensory world, Visualize the physical comfort of a dog preparing to sleep. Watch as the animal turns in a slow, deliberate circle, once, twice, perhaps 3 times. This ritual is a calming echo from their ancestors on the open plains. They are trampling down tall grass to create a soft, flat bed, checking the wind to ensure they are positioned to catch the scent of anything approaching. As they settle, notice how they curl into a tight, perfect sphere. This is the donut shape, the crescent moon of fur. By tucking their nose under their tail, they are engaging in a masterpiece of biological engineering. This position protects their vital organs, the soft belly, from the cold and from predators. It conserves every ounce of body heat, creating a self-sustaining loop of warmth. Imagine the feeling of being that secure, wrapped entirely within your own warmth, a closed circuit of safety where the outside world cannot enter. It is the physical embodiment of a safe haven, a visual mantra of self-preservation and coziness that invites you to curl up in your mind, tucking away your thoughts and finding your own centre of warmth. As the dog settles into this ball of warmth, the breathing slows and the mind slips into the realm of dreams. It is a beautiful and tranquil realization that dogs dream just as we do. Picture a sleeping dog on a thick woolen rug bathed in the afternoon sun or the glow of a fireplace. Their breathing becomes rhythmic, a soft huffing sound. And then the paws begin to twitch. A gentle tremor runs through their legs. Perhaps a muffled bark escapes their lips, not in anger, but in excitement. Science tells us that their sleep cycles are remarkably similar to humans, entering the rapid eye movement stage where dreams occur. In this state, they are free. Visualize what they might be seeing. Endless green meadows with no fences, a ball that never stops rolling. The thrill of the chase where they are forever young, forever fast. They are processing the day, cementing memories of commands learned and play enjoyed. Seeing a dog dream is a reminder that they possess an inner life, a rich tapestry of imagination and memory. It invites us to wonder where their spirits go when their eyes close, and to join them in that boundless country of sleep where gravity does not exist, and the fields go on forever. And when they wake from those dreams and look up at you, something profound happens in the chemistry of the air between you. Visualize the deep, soulful gaze of a dog. Their eyes, often rich browns or warm hazels, lock onto yours. This is not merely looking, it is a biological embrace. Research has shown that when a dog and their human gaze into each other's eyes, both of their brains release oxytocin. This is often called the love hormone, the very same substance that bonds a mother to her newborn child. It is a loop of affection, a silent feedback mechanism where the longer you look, the more love is generated in both beings. Imagine this invisible stream of connection flowing from your eyes to theirs and back again, a golden thread of empathy that requires no words. Unlike wolves, who interpret direct eye contact as a threat, dogs have evolved to seek this connection, to read our intentions and offer their own vulnerability in return. It is a soothing testament to their evolution, designed specifically to love and be loved by us, a biological proof that you are seen, you are accepted, and you are cherished. From the silent language of the eyes, we drift to the velvet radar dishes of their ears. Picture the soft triangular ear of a dog, perhaps perked up and swiveling like a delicate satellite. Their world of sound is vast and intricate, reaching frequencies far beyond the limits of human hearing. While we live in a relatively quiet world, they hear the ultrasonic pulse of electricity in the walls, the high-pitched squeak of a mouse in the grass, the footfalls of a family member walking down the street long before they reach the door. They have 18 muscles in each ear, allowing them to tilt, rotate, and raise them independently, sculpting the soundscape around them. Imagine being able to steer your hearing, to focus on a singular sound like a beam of light. Yet, despite this sensitivity, they find peace. They learn to filter the noise, to listen specifically for the sounds of safety, the rhythm of your breathing, the specific cadence of your car engine. It is a reminder to us to tune out the cacophony of the world and focus only on the frequencies of comfort, to let the background noise fade into a hum, leaving only the sounds that bring us peace. Now let your mind's eye zoom in closer, closer still, until you are hovering just inches away from the wet, shiny tip of a dog's nose. Observe the texture. It is a landscape of tiny ridges, bumps, and valleys, glistening with moisture. This pattern is as unique as a snowflake, as distinct as a human fingerprint. No two dogs in the history of the world have ever had the exact same nose print. It is their singular identity stamped upon the world. The moisture there is not accidental. It acts like a layer of sticky Velcro for scents, capturing the tiniest particles floating in the breeze so they can be analysed. This cool, damp surface is the compass by which they navigate their existence. Imagine the coolness of that nose nuzzling your hand. It is a tactile connection to the wild, a sensory instrument of immense precision wrapped in a package of affection. The uniqueness of the noseprint reminds us that every being is a singular creation, a one-of-a-kind design in the universe, never to be repeated, distinct and precious in its own intricate way. From the nose, our attention flows like water down the spine to the very end of the creature, the tail. Here lies a metronome of emotion, a pendulum that swings to the rhythm of the heart. Visualize the gentle swoosh of a tail wagging in slow motion. It is more than just happiness. It is a complex language of motion. The tail is an extension of the spine, and when a dog is truly at ease, the wag ripples through their entire body, causing their hips to sway in a dance of delight. There is a secret code here as well. Studies suggest that when a dog is feeling positive and approachable, the tail tends to wag more to the right side of their body. When they are anxious, it drifts to the left. But tonight, in our peaceful visualization, the tail is sweeping wide and loose, a sign of utter relaxation. Can you hear the rhythmic thump, thump, thump against the floor or the side of the sofa? It is a drumbeat of pure joy, a sound that says, "I am here, I am happy, and all is well." Let that rhythm synchronize with your own heartbeat, a steady, comforting pulse that slows you down and grounds you in the simplicity of happiness. As you imagine resting your hand on the dog's side, you notice a radiating warmth that permeates your own skin. The dog is a living furnace. Their natural body temperature runs higher than ours, typically between 101 and 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit. This is why, on a cold winter night, a dog feels like a heated blanket that never cools down. This biological heat is a remnant of their survival in the wild, keeping their muscles ready for action and their systems functioning in freezing temperatures. But for us, it is a source of physical comfort. Visualize lying next to this source of heat. The warmth transfers to you, seeping into your muscles, loosening the knots of tension in your shoulders and back. It is a deep, penetrating heat that feels like the sun soaking into a stone. In the dark of the room, this warmth is a beacon of life, a steady, glowing ember that keeps the chill of solitude at bay. It anchors you to the physical world in the most soothing way possible, reminding you that you are near a living, breathing miracle of nature. Finally, let your mind wander across the incredible spectrum of shapes and forms that these spirits take. From the giant, gentle Great Dane, standing like a statue of nobility, to the tiny, spirited Chihuahua, light as a feather. Dogs are the most physically diverse land animals on the planet. Yet, despite this vast array of sizes, coat colours, ear shapes, and tail lengths, they all share the exact same genetic language. They are all one family. Visualize a parade of these forms drifting by in the clouds, the golden fur of a retriever catching the light, the spots of a Dalmatian like stars in a night sky, the sleek greyhound built of wind and muscle. This diversity is a testament to their malleability, their willingness to change and adapt to walk beside us in whatever environment we choose. Whether guarding sheep on a rainy mountain or sleeping on a silk pillow in a high-rise apartment, the spirit within remains constant. It is a beautiful thought that beneath the surface, beneath the fur and the bone structure, the heart of the dog is universal, a beating core of loyalty that transcends the shape of the vessel, just as your own spirit transcends the body that rests now, heavy and asleep. And as that universal spirit settles into the physical form of the companion beside you, look closely at the landscape of their face. There is a specific, subtle miracle etched into the very musculature of the dog, a feature that distinguishes them from their wild ancestors in the most tender of ways. Focus your inner gaze on the space just above their eyes, the inner brow. Over thousands of years of living in the warmth of our homes, dogs have evolved a tiny, specialized muscle that wolves do not possess. It is a biological development created for one singular purpose: to communicate with you. When a dog lifts that inner eyebrow, their eye appears larger, rounder, and infinitely more infant-like. It triggers a nurturing instinct deep within the human brain, a silent plea that says, "Care for me." Imagine the softness of that gaze, the way the brow furrows slightly in a look of concern or deep contemplation. It creates an expression of perpetual empathy, a look that suggests they're trying to understand every word you speak, every feeling you hold. This muscle allows them to mimic the facial expressions of human sadness or confusion, bridging the gap between species. It is profound to think that their very faces have shifted, molded by the gravity of our relationship, evolving to mirror our own emotions back to us so that we might feel understood in the quietest moments of the night. From the soulful architecture of the eyes, let your attention drift downward to the mouth, where another silent language is spoken. We often project our own behaviours onto these creatures, but the smile of a dog is a unique expression of peace. Picture a dog lying in the cool grass after a long run, or resting on a rug. The mouth falls open, just slightly. The corners of the lips pull back, not in tension, but in a complete release of the jaw. The tongue may loll out, pink and relaxed, tasting the air. This is the canine expression of total contentment. Unlike the baring of teeth which signals a warning, this loose, open-mouthed expression creates a soft, sweeping curve along the jawline. It is the face of a being with zero worries, a creature existing entirely in the joy of the present moment. Visualizing this dog smile invites your own jaw to unclench. Feel the muscles in your own face soften in sympathy. Let your tongue drop away from the roof of your mouth. The dog's relaxed state is contagious, a visual cue that there is no danger here, only the easy, rhythmic flow of breath and the simple pleasure of existing in a safe place. As that breath flows in and out, you may witness a phenomenon that binds your spirit to theirs even closer: the yawn. Picture the slow, deliberate expansion of a dog yawning. The head tilts back, the eyes squeeze shut in a moment of pure sensory surrender, and the chest expands to its absolute limit before releasing a long, audible sigh. We know that yawning in humans is contagious, a sign of empathy and social bonding, but it is a deeply relaxing fact that this contagion crosses the species barrier. Studies have shown that dogs will often yawn when they see their owners yawn. It is not merely a sign of tiredness, it is a sign of attunement. They are reading your state of being. When you are weary, they acknowledge it. When you're settling down for sleep, they mirror that transition. Imagine a wave of relaxation starting with you, rippling through the air and being caught by your companion, who reflects it back to you. It is a feedback loop of calmness. If you were to yawn right now, visualizing your dog beside you, imagine them yawning in return, a silent agreement that the day is done, the watch is ended, and it is time to drift together into the restorative deep. Now let the image of the dog shift to a moment of simple sustenance. Visualize a bowl of cool, clear water. The dog approaches, thirsty and eager. Watch the mechanics of how they drink, for it is a marvel of fluid dynamics that happens too fast for the naked eye to appreciate in real time. In the slow motion of your mind, observe the tongue extending. We often think they scoop water up like a ladle, but the truth is far more intricate. The dog curls the tip of their tongue backward, forming a negative space, a backward cup. They plunge this inverted spoon into the water and withdraw it with such speed that it creates a column of water, a defying of gravity that shoots upward into their mouth. They bite down on this rising pillar of liquid before it falls back. It is a messy, joyful, rhythmic process. Lap, splash, swallow. Lap, splash, swallow. The sound is hypnotic, a steady cadence of refreshment. It reminds us of the simple, elemental needs of life: water, thirst, and the quenching of it. There is no pretense here, only the immediate satisfaction of a biological need. Let the imagined sound of that drinking wash over you, cooling your thoughts, washing away the dust of the day, leaving you feeling hydrated and clean. From the water, we travel down to the paws that plant them firmly on the earth. These are not just feet, they are complex sensory instruments. Visualize the pads of a dog's foot, thick, tough, leathery cushions that protect them from hot pavement and sharp rocks. But between those pads lies a secret scent, a signature aroma that many dog owners know well. If you were to smell the paws of a sleeping dog, you might detect the faint, earthy scent of corn chips or popcorn. This is not a trick of the mind. It is a natural biological reality caused by the harmless interplay of bacteria and yeast that live on the skin, thriving in the warm, protected crevices of the paw. Far from being unpleasant, it is a scent of life, of warmth, of biology at work. It is the smell of a creature that walks the earth, a grounding, savoury scent that speaks of comfort and slumber. It is the aroma of a Frito foot, a cosy reminder of the living being resting beside you. Imagine holding that paw, feeling the rough texture of the pads and the softness of the fur between them, breathing in that warm, yeasty scent that smells like baked earth, grounding you to the reality of the here and now. Moving back to the face, let us focus on the delicate spray of whiskers that adorn the muzzle. These are not merely coarse hairs, they are vibrissae, deeply embedded in the skin and connected to a rich network of nerves. Visualize them as sensitive antennae, reaching out into the world. Even in a pitch-black room, a dog can navigate without bumping into walls because these whiskers detect the subtle displacement of the air. As a dog approaches an object, the air creates a cushion, a tiny wave that pushes back against the whisker, telling the dog, "Something is here." Imagine possessing this tactile sense of the air itself. The dog can feel the shape of the room without touching it. They can sense the wind direction, the speed of an object passing by, even the trembling of a tiny creature in the grass. This sensitivity allows them to move with grace in the dark, a shadow within a shadow. It is a comforting thought to know that even when the lights are out, your companion is not blind. They are reading the invisible currents of the room, fully aware, fully oriented, wrapped in a sensory bubble that tells them exactly where they are and where you are, guarding the space with a radar made of touch. And when the morning light eventually returns, or when they rise from a long nap, observe the ritual of the stretch. This is known in yoga as Adho Mukha Svanasana, or downward facing dog, but for them, it is simply waking up. Visualize the dog standing up, then slowly lowering their front half to the ground while keeping their rear leg straight. Their spine elongates, a long, sloping bridge of fur. The front paws slide forward, reaching, reaching, reaching. They might let out a groan of pure physical relief as the muscles along the back and shoulders release their tension. Then they might reverse it, pushing the hips forward and arching the back, looking up at the sky. This isn't just a stretch, it is a resetting of the nervous system, a way to tell the body to prepare for movement. Imagine feeling that stretch in your own body right now. The lengthening of the spine, the opening of the chest, the satisfying release of stiffness. It is a celebration of mobility, a deliberate act of self-care that says, "I am ready to inhabit this body again." Let that sensation of length and release relax your own muscles, melting you deeper into your resting place. As the day progresses, the dog becomes a keeper of time, though they cannot read a clock. Have you ever wondered how a dog knows, almost to the minute, when their favourite person is due to walk through the door? They are not counting seconds, they are smelling time. Visualise the air in your home as a fluid that changes throughout the day. In the morning, when you leave, your scent is strong and fresh, filling the house like a heavy mist. As the hours tick by, that scent begins to fade, settling like dust, dissipating into the ether. The dog can smell this decay. They know that when your scent drops to a specific concentration, the sun is at a certain angle and the shadows have stretched to a particular length, it is time for your return. They are living biological hourglasses. Imagine them waiting by the window, not with anxiety, but with the certainty of the nose. They are watching the invisible tide of your scent lower until it hits the mark that says homecoming. It is a beautiful, romantic concept that their entire day is calibrated to the fading memory of your presence and the anticipation of its renewal. When you do arrive, or when you're simply standing in the kitchen, you may feel a solid, warm weight press against your leg. This is the lean. It is a gesture so simple, yet so heavy with meaning. A dog does not lean on you because they are falling. They lean on you because they are standing with you. It is a hug without arms. Visualize the feeling of that pressure, the solid, muscular warmth of the dog's shoulder pressing into your shin or thigh. They are transferring their weight to you, engaging in a passive form of physical contact that says, "I am here, you are my anchor." In the wild, pack members press against each other to reassure one another of their presence and to offer protection. By leaning on you, they are claiming you as their pack, offering you their physical support. Feel that imaginary weight now, a grounding force that tethers you to the earth. It is a sensation of shared gravity, a physical promise that you do not have to carry the weight of the world alone. There is a sturdy, warm presence willing to shoulder it with you. Finally, let us drift into the healing power of their touch, a phenomenon that science has only recently begun to understand. Visualize the simple, rhythmic act of stroking a dog's fur. Your hand glides over the head, down the neck, along the back, and repeats. Stroke, pause, stroke, pause. This is not just pleasing to the dog, it is medicine for the human. Research has proven that the act of petting a dog lowers your blood pressure and releases a cascade of relaxation hormones like serotonin, prolactin, and oxytocin. It slows the human heart rate. It regulates breathing. It is a biological lullaby played out through the fingertips. Imagine the texture of the fur under your hand. Perhaps it is silky and cool, or coarse and wiry, or thick and woolly. With every pass of your hand, visualize the stress leaving your body, absorbed by the infinite capacity of the dog's heart to transmute your worry into peace. You are participating in a symbiotic loop of healing. As they calm you, you calm them. In this quiet, rhythmic motion, two nervous systems synchronize, slowing down, until both hearts beat to the slow, steady drum of a peaceful sleep. As the rhythm of your heart aligns with the slow, steady beat of the companion beside you, we drift further into the mysteries that bind their existence to the very forces of the planet. It is a calming realization that dogs are not just living on the earth, they are deeply tuned into it, connected to invisible grids that our human senses can no longer perceive. Imagine standing in a vast open field under the canopy of a pre-dawn sky. The world is silent, but for the dog, the earth is humming with magnetic energy. Science has unveiled that dogs possess a form of magnetoreception, an internal compass that whispers to them the direction of true north. When a dog circles to find the perfect spot to relieve themselves, they are often not merely looking for a patch of grass, but are actually aligning their bodies with the north-south axis of the Earth's magnetic field. Visualize this for a moment. Your companion, pausing in the quiet of the morning, turning slowly until they lock into the invisible geometry of the planet. They are calibrating themselves with the poles, seeking a harmonious alignment with the giant magnet that is our home. It is a profound thought. that in their most vulnerable moments they seek to be parallel with the flow of the world, anchoring themselves to the cardinal directions. It serves as a gentle reminder for us to find our own alignment, to seek our own north, and to stand in harmony with the greater forces that spin silently around us. From this connection to the invisible earth, let your mind wander to the way they perceive the light of the moon and stars. Look deep into the eyes of a dog in a dimly lit room, and you might see a sudden ghostly flash of green or gold. This is not a trick of the shadows, but a biological marvel known as the tapetum lucidum. Situated behind the retina, this layer of tissue acts like a flawless mirror. Its purpose is to catch the faintest glimmer of light, starlight, moonlight, the glow of a distant street lamp, and reflect it back through the eye for a second chance to be absorbed. Visualizing this eye shine invites us into their nocturnal world. While we stumble in the dark, they glide through it with confidence. This mirror allows them to see in light 5 times dimmer than what the human eye requires. Imagine the world through their gaze, a landscape painted in shades of silver and grey, where the night is not a wall of black but a luminous tapestry of shapes and movements. It is the vision of the twilight hunter, the guardian who watches over the camp while the tribe sleeps. This glowing reflection is a beacon of their vigilance, a comforting signal that even when the sun has vanished, they are there, seeing what we cannot, watching the shadows so that we may dream in peace. As the dog closes those luminous eyes to sleep, observe the heavy, sliding movement of their eyelids. But look closer. As the main lids part slightly, you might catch a glimpse of a pale, pinkish membrane sweeping across the corner of the eye. This is the nictitating membrane, often called the third eyelid. It is a feature lost to humans eons ago, but kept by the dog as a hidden shield. Visualize this membrane as a delicate biological windshield wiper, moving silently to clear debris and spread moisture, protecting the precious window to the soul. When a dog is deeply relaxed, or sometimes when they're waking from a deep slumber, this third eyelid remains partially visible, a veil of soft tissue that says the muscles are too heavy, too relaxed to retract fully. It is a sign of absolute surrender to rest. To see the third eyelid is to see a dog that has let down every defense, relying entirely on the safety of your presence. It is a layer of protection that allows them to sleep with a kind of half-awareness, a biological curtain drawn against the harshness of the world, inviting you to draw your own curtains and retreat into the sanctuary of the mind. Drifting from their eyes to the way they regulate the heat of their bodies, consider the elegance of their cooling breath. Unlike humans, whose skin becomes slick with perspiration, the dog remains dry to the touch, their fur soft and unbroken by sweat. They possess a cooling system that is entirely breath-based. Visualize the rhythm of a panting dog, the tongue extended, the rapid, shallow breaths. This is not a struggle, it is a masterpiece of evaporation. As air passes over the wet surfaces of the tongue and the lining of the lungs, it picks up moisture and heat, carrying it out of the body in a steady stream of vapour. But they do have one secret place where they sweat as we do. Picture the bottom of their paws, those leathery tough pads we visited earlier. Here, in the deep crevices of their footprint, are eccrine glands. On a hot day, or in a moment of nervousness, a dog leaves behind damp, tiny footprints on a tile floor. These wet prints are more than just cooling. They are scent markers, leaving a chemical trail of their presence. Imagine a trail of these damp paw prints fading on a sun-warmed stone, a fleeting map of where they have walked, a reminder that they tread lightly upon the earth, leaving only their warmth and their scent behind. Now, imagine a dog standing at the edge of a rippling lake, the water calling to them. For some breeds, the water is not an obstacle, but a second home. Visualize the paws of a Newfoundland or a retriever spreading wide as they step into the cool blue. Between their toes there is a span of skin, a webbing that transforms their feet into powerful paddles. This aquatic adaptation allows them to push against the water with immense force, gliding through the depths with the grace of an otter. Picture the sensation of that webbed foot pushing through the resistance of the water, propelling the heavy body forward, the fur floating like seagrass around them. This webbing is a testament to their history as helpers, pulling nets for fishermen, rescuing sailors from the cold waves. It is a design born of service and survival. Even if your companion is sleeping on a dry rug, that webbing is there, hidden between the toes, a dormant potential for swimming, a reminder of the fluidity of their nature, ready to dive into the deep whenever the call arises. Let us float back in time to the very beginning of their lives, to the warm, dark nest of the whelping box. A newborn puppy is a creature of pure vulnerability. When they first enter this world, their eyes are sealed shut, and their ears are closed tight. They are blind and deaf, floating in a sensory void. Yet, they are not lost. Visualize a tiny, velvet-furred puppy navigating this darkness. They are guided by a superpower that fades as they grow, heat sensors in their nose. Like a heat-seeking missile of affection, the newborn crawls toward the source of warmth, the mother, the milk bar, the pile of siblings. They perceive the world not as shapes or sounds, but as a thermal landscape, a gradient of cold to warm. This reliance on heat creates an instinct for closeness that never truly leaves them. It is why, even as adults, they seek to press their bodies against yours. They are reenacting that primal search for the thermal center of safety. When a dog curls up against your spine or rests their head on your foot, they are finding the heat source, returning to the first rule of their existence. Warmth equals life, and warmth equals love. This instinct for closeness manifests in a behavior that is universally understood in the canine world, the playbow. Picture a dog in the park, overflowing with energy. They drop their front elbows to the ground, hindquarters high in the air, tail wagging furiously. This is the universal meta-signal of the dog world. It is a physical punctuation mark that changes the meaning of everything that follows. By bowing, the dog is saying, "Everything I do next," the growling, the nipping, the chasing, is a game. It is not real. It is a profound act of communication, a way of establishing consent and trust before the chaos of play begins. Imagine the joy of that posture, the spring-loaded energy in their back legs, the sparkle in their eyes. It is a gesture of pure optimism, an invitation to shed the seriousness of life and engage in the frolic of the moment. It invites you to bow to the universe, to signal that you are ready to play, to laugh, and to not take the heavy things so seriously. After the play is done and the energy is spent, there comes the sound of the sigh. You're reading a book or staring at the ceiling, and from the floor, you hear a long, heavy exhale through the nose. Hoo-hoo. Listen closely to the nuance of this sound. Canine experts believe that a sigh with the eyes half open is often a sign of disappointment. Perhaps the walk was too short or the treat was denied. But the sigh with the eyes closed, that is the sound of bliss. Visualize the dog's chest falling, the air escaping in a slow, deliberate release as they give up the last shred of tension, holding their muscles taut. It is an auditory signal that the day's watch is over. There is nothing left to monitor, nothing left to track. It is the sound of a system powering down into standby mode. Let that sound echo in your own mind. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, mimic that long, heavy sigh. Let your own eyes close. Let the disappointment of the day drift away with the open-eyed sigh, and welcome the closed-eyed sigh of profound, sinking comfort. As you look at the silhouette of the dog in your mind, pay attention to the shape of their ears. Perhaps they are pointy and upright, like a wolf capturing every snap of a twig. But perhaps they are long, soft and floppy, draping like velvet curtains around the face. The floppy ear is a fascinating hallmark of domestication. In the wild, ears must be up to hear danger. But as dogs felt safer with humans, as the adrenaline of the wild faded from their lineage, the cartilage in their ears began to soften. The muscles relaxed, the ears dropped. A floppy ear is a biological flag of safety. It signifies a creature that does not need to be perpetually on high alert because it has you. Visualize the silky texture of a spaniel's ear, or the soft fold of a retriever's. Running your fingers through that long, soft fur is a tactile experience of peace. It is the feeling of 1,000-year-old trust, a physical manifestation of the idea that in this home, in this pack, we are safe enough to let our guard down, to let our ears fall, and to listen only to the beating of a friendly heart. Finally, let us marvel at the hidden chemistry set within their nose, a tool so advanced it can act as a medical device. There are countless stories, now backed by science, of dogs sensing changes in the human body long before a machine can detect them. Visualize the dog sniffing the air around a person. They are not just smelling soap or perfume, they are smelling the volatile organic compounds released by our cells. They can smell the spike in blood sugar in a diabetic. They can smell the chemical shift that precedes a seizure. Some can even smell the presence of dangerous cells growing within the body. They are guardians of our biology. Imagine an invisible aura around you, a cloud of your own chemistry. The dog reads this cloud like a weather report. When they nudge your hand or refuse to leave your side when you feel unwell, they are responding to a shift in your internal atmosphere. It is a deeply comforting thought to know that you are watched over not just physically, but molecularly. You're in the presence of a healer who knows your body's rhythm better than you do. A sentinel who stands guard over your very health, anchoring you to safety with every breath they take. And as we rest in the knowledge that they are guarding our internal chemistry, let us observe the way they cleanse themselves of the external world. Visualize a dog that has just stepped out of a lake, or perhaps one that has just endured a gentle bath. They stand firm, planting their paws, and then a ripple begins. It starts at the nose and travels downward like a wave of pure kinetic energy. This is the wet dog shake, a phenomenon that is as efficient as it is hypnotic to watch in slow motion. In the span of mere seconds, a dog can generate a centrifugal force so powerful that it sheds 70% of the water clinging to its fur. Imagine the skin moving faster than the spine, loose and elastic, whipping back and forth. The water droplets fly outward like a halo of diamonds, a galaxy of liquid spinning away into the air. It is a moment of total release. They are not just shaking off water, they are shaking off the heavy, the cold, the uncomfortable. They are resetting their sensory field. Imagine feeling that sensation in your own body, a vigorous, full-body shudder that casts off the weight of the day, sending your worries flying off into the void like scattered droplets, leaving you light, dry, and ready to settle. Once the water is gone and the fur begins to dry, observe how they seek out the warmth of the sun. There is a quiet wisdom in the way a dog navigates a room to find the single patch of sunlight falling across the carpet. They are solar-powered spirits. Visualize a golden retriever or a small terrier collapsing into that square of light. They do not merely lie in it, they melt into it. They align their bodies perfectly to absorb the maximum amount of photons, soaking up the heat into their bones. As the earth rotates and the sun travels across the sky, the patch of light moves across the floor. Watch, in your mind's eye, as the sleeping dog wakes, groggily stands, and shuffles 2 feet to the right to remain in the brilliance. They are surfing the light. This behavior serves a biological purpose, helping them to conserve energy and maintain that high body temperature we spoke of earlier. But poetically, it teaches us to follow the light. It invites you to find the warm spots in your own life, the moments of grace and brightness, and to rest there, moving with them, letting the warmth penetrate the deepest parts of your spirit until you are glowing from the inside out. As they lie in that sunbeam, looking up at you, consider how they see the world. For generations, it was believed that dogs lived in a black and white film, a monochrome existence. But science has painted a new picture, one that is soft and pastel. Dogs possess a dichromatic vision, seeing the world primarily in shades of yellow and blue. Visualize your room through their eyes. The bright red ball on the green grass does not scream with contrast. Instead, The red appears as a dark brownish yellow, and the grass is a yellowish grey. The world is less jarring, less saturated. It is a vintage photograph, a watercolour painting where the harsh edges of colour are softened. This blue and yellow spectrum is soothing, a visual lullaby that strips away the chaotic noise of the full rainbow. Imagine slipping on a pair of glasses that filters out the jarring reds and the vibrant greens, leaving you with a calm oceanic palette of blues and buttery yellows. It is a gentler world, a softer reality that explains why they are so easily content. They do not see the clash of colours, they see the hues of the sky and the sun, a permanent reflection of the calmest elements of nature. Now, watch the dog rise from the sunbeam and trot across the room. There is a fluid grace to their movement, a glide that seems almost effortless. This is due to a hidden feature in their skeletal structure, the disconnected shoulder. Unlike humans, whose arms are tethered to the chest by the collarbone, the clavicle of a dog is rudimentary, a tiny sliver of bone that does not connect to the rest of the skeleton. Their shoulder blades are floating, held in place only by strong, flexible muscle. This allows for a tremendous stride length and a shock-absorbing landing. Visualize the sensation of walking without the restriction of a skeletal frame, your arms and shoulders floating free, gliding over the terrain. When a dog runs, their front legs can extend far forward, unhindered by a bone-on-bone connection. This floating shoulder absorbs the impact of the earth, turning every step into a smooth, rolling motion. It is the anatomy of freedom. It invites you to loosen your own shoulders, to let them drop away from your ears, imagining that they too are floating, disconnected from stress, gliding smoothly on a cushion of muscle and breath. Some dogs, however, prefer to hide away rather than run. Think of the small terriers or the sleek dachshunds who burrow deep under the duvet. This is not just a desire for warmth, it is an ancestral memory of the den. These breeds were created to go to ground, to hunt in tunnels and burrows. When they tunnel under your blankets, creating a cave of cotton and wool, they are returning to the safety of the earth. Visualize the sensation of being that dog, crawling into a dark, warm, confined space where the weight of the blankets presses gently on all sides. This is deep pressure therapy, a natural hug that calms the nervous system. In that dark fabric cave, the world disappears. There is no light, no sound, only the muffled quiet and the warmth of the pack. It is the ultimate sanctuary. Imagine yourself burrowing down into your own bed, pulling the covers up over your head, and finding that sweet, dark solitude where the air is warm and the outside world ceases to exist, leaving you in a cocoon of safety. From the darkness of the burrow, let us cast our minds to the vastness of the cosmos. The connection between dogs and the night sky is etched into the stars themselves. The brightest star in our night sky is Sirius, known as the Dog Star, residing in the constellation Canis Major, the Great Dog. Ancient civilizations believed that this star emanated a heat that added to the warmth of the sun during the late summer, coining the phrase the dog days of summer. Visualize a clear winter night where Sirius burns with a blue-white intensity, the diamond collar of the celestial dog. It is a comforting thought that the guardian spirit of the dog has been immortalized in the heavens, watching over us from light years away. When you look up at the stars, you're looking at the cosmic ancestry of your companion. They are stardust given form, a spark of the universal fire sleeping at your feet. Let the light of the dog star be a nightlight for your soul, a burning beacon of loyalty that shines even when the rest of the universe is dark. Bringing our focus back to Earth, to the playful interactions of the day, there is a specific sound that signals pure joy: the play sneeze. You may have noticed that when you are wrestling with a dog, or when two dogs are tumbling over one another, there is often a sharp, deliberate exhale, a chuff, or a sneeze that is not caused by dust or allergies. This is a linguistic sneeze. It is a signal used to communicate that the growling and the biting are all in good fun. It is a punctuation mark of safety. Visualize the dog pausing in the midst of a mock battle to offer this little sneeze, a whisper that says, "I am happy, I am playing, I am safe." It breaks the tension. It is the laughter of the canine world. Imagine a world where we could diffuse all tension with a simple breath, a signal that our intentions are pure and our hearts are light. Hear that soft chuff in your mind, a rhythm of breath that signifies the absence of danger and the presence of joy. As the dog tilts its head to look at you after that sneeze, you witness another marvel of their empathy. The head tilt is one of the most endearing behaviours in the animal kingdom. While it is undeniably cute, it serves a functional purpose. By tilting their head, the dog is adjusting their pinny, the outer ear, to better triangulate the source of a sound. They are trying to hear you more clearly. But there is also a visual component. The muzzle of a dog can obstruct the lower part of their vision. By tilting their head, they are moving their nose out of the way so they can clearly see your mouth. They are trying to read your lips, to see your smile, to understand the emotional context of your words. Visualize this movement. The gentle, inquisitive tip of the head, one ear cocked higher than the other. It is a physical demonstration of active listening. They are giving you their undivided attention, reshaping their own perspective just to understand you better. It is a gesture that says, "You are the most important thing in my world right now, and I want to catch every nuance of your spirit." Consider the gentle giants of the dog world, the saint, Bernards, and the myth of the barrel around their necks. While the brandy barrel is a legend, the warmth they provide is real. These dogs possess an instinct to lie on top of fallen travellers, sharing their immense body heat to prevent freezing. They are living blankets. But more than that, they have an innate sense of direction in the snow. Visualize a landscape of blinding white, where all landmarks are erased by the storm. The dog does not need to see the path. They can feel the density of the snowpack under their paws. They can hear the hollow sound of a crevasse hidden beneath a drift. They navigate the treacherous with a slow, plodding certainty. Imagine the comfort of following such a guide, a massive, warm presence breaking the trail for you, creating a path of safety through the cold, unknown wilderness. It allows you to surrender control, to step where they step, knowing that their instinct is ancient and true, leading you inevitably toward the warmth of the hearth. And finally, as the journey brings us back to the quiet of the bedroom, we arrive at the ultimate synchronization. When you sleep with a dog nearby, a biological resonance occurs. Research has suggested that the heartbeats of a dog and their owner can synchronize when they are bonded and resting together. Visualize the two hearts in the room, your own, and the steady, rhythmic drum of the dog. Slowly, like two pendulums on the same wall, they begin to swing in time. The dog's heart rate slows to match the deepening peace of the room, and your heart responds, in training to their calmness. It is a silent duet of life. There is no need for touch, though touch amplifies it. The mere presence of their biorhythm regulates yours. Imagine this invisible tether of sound connecting your chest to theirs, a feedback loop of tranquility. Thump, 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 thump. The sound is slow, heavy, and reassuring. It is the soundtrack of loyalty, the heartbeat of a creature that asks for nothing but to be near you, beating in perfect time with your journey into the dreamland. From that synchronized rhythm of the heart, let your awareness drift downward to the silence of their movement. There is a reason why a dog can appear at your side without you ever hearing their approach, a ghostly arrival that seems almost magical. It is because of the way they walk. Unlike humans who stomp through the world on flat feet, grounding the heavy heel with every step, the dog is a digitigrade walker. This means they walk entirely on their toes. Visualize the anatomy of this stealth. Their heel is actually high up on their leg, floating in the air, never touching the ground. They are perpetually tiptoeing through life, like a ballerina held in a permanent state of grace. This structure acts as a natural shock absorber, dampening the sound of their passage. Imagine the pads of their feet not just as cushions, but as silencers, absorbing the impact of the floor, muffling the click of the claw. It is a biological design for stealth, born from the need to stalk prey in the ancient forest without snapping a twig. In the quiet of your home, this toe walking allows them to move like a shadow, a presence that is felt rather than heard. It is a gentle reminder to tread lightly, to move through your own world with a softness that disturbs nothing, gliding over the surface of the earth rather than colliding with it. And just as their feet can be gentle, so too can their jaws. We often think of the dog's mouth as a tool of force, capable of crushing bone. But within that power lies a capacity for infinite delicacy known as the soft mouth. This is a trait bred deep into the lineage of retrievers and spaniels, a muscle memory of gentleness. Visualize a golden retriever holding a fragile object, perhaps a raw egg or a tiny injured bird found in the garden. They possess the motor control to hold this item securely without exerting even a fraction of an ounce of crushing pressure. It is a suspension of strength, a conscious decision to be tender. Imagine the sensation of that velvet grip. It is a paradox of nature, the ability to destroy held in check by the desire to protect. This soft mouth is a physical manifestation of restraint. It teaches us that true strength is not about force, it is about control. It is the ability to hold the fragile things of the world, our hopes, our dreams, the hearts of others, with a grip that is secure yet gentle, cradling them in a sanctuary of safety without ever leaving a mark. This mental connection between the human and the dog goes beyond mere physical gentleness. It extends into the realm of cognitive bridging. There is a specific, silent gesture that dogs understand which even our closest relatives, the chimpanzees, do not. It is the power of the point. Visualize yourself standing in an open field, extending your arm and pointing a finger toward a distant tree or a hidden treat. A wolf would look at the tip of your finger, confused by the appendage itself, but a dog? A dog looks past the finger, following the invisible line of your intention to the object you are highlighting. They understand the concept of reference. They understand that your mind is focused on something else, and they want to share in that focus. This is a profound theory of mind, the realization that you have a perspective different from theirs. Imagine this invisible thread connecting your fingertip to their eyes, and then extending out into the world. It is a shared triangulation of reality. They trust your guidance so implicitly that they will ignore their own senses to follow your direction. It is a spiritual alignment, a silent agreement to see the world not just through their own eyes, but through yours, trusting that where you point, there lies something of value, something of wonder. This sensitivity to the unseen extends to the very atmosphere around us. Long before the first clap of thunder rattles the window panes, the dog knows the storm is coming. They are living barometers. The air pressure in the room begins to drop, a subtle shift in the density of the atmosphere that human skin is too dull to register. But for the dog, this drop is a physical sensation, perhaps felt as a pressure in the ears or a change in the static charge of their fur. Visualize the air growing heavy, charged with the electricity of an approaching tempest. The dog may become clingy, seeking the grounding safety of your presence, or they may retreat to a windowless room, seeking the stability of the earth. They can hear the low-frequency rumble of thunder from miles away, sounds that are below the threshold of human hearing, vibrating through the ground and up into their paws. They are tuned into the mood of the planet. When they look at you with concern before a storm, they are acting as an early warning system, a connection to the elemental forces. It invites us to respect the power of nature, to feel the shift in the winds, and to find our own shelter before the rain begins to fall. In those moments when the storm has passed and the household is calm, you might witness a look that melts the hardest of hearts, the guilty look. You come home to find a cushion overturned or a shoe chewed, and the dog is crouching, ears pinned back, eyes averting your gaze, showing the whites of their eyes. We project human guilt onto this expression, assuming they know they have done wrong. But in the language of the dog, this is not guilt. It is appeasement. It is a peace offering. Visualize the dog making themselves small, lowering their head, offering a soft, submissive posture. They are reacting to the tension in your body language, to the tone of your voice. They are saying, "I see that the energy here is disrupted, and I want to restore harmony." They are pleading for the return of peace. They are willing to absorb the tension to diffuse it. It is a profound act of social preservation. Instead of fighting back, they choose vulnerability. It is a lesson in de-escalation, a visual mantra that suggests sometimes the best way to meet anger is with softness, to meet conflict with a gentle desire to simply be okay with one another again. Let us shift our gaze now to the marvel of transformation, embodied in the spotted coat of the Dalmatian. When these puppies are born, they are as pure and white as fallen snow. There is not a single spot on their bodies. They are blank canvases, waiting for their identity to emerge. Visualize a nest of white velvet puppies sleeping in a heap, but hidden within their skin are the pigments, waiting for the signal to rise. Over the course of weeks, like stars appearing in the evening sky, the spots begin to manifest. First a shadow, then a blur, then a distinct ink black or liver-coloured coin. No two Dalmatians have the same pattern. Their spots are a celestial map unique to their own universe. Some have spots on their ears, some on their tails, some even inside their mouths. This slow reveal of the self is a relaxing meditation on time and growth. We are not born finished. We are constantly becoming, our true colours rising to the surface as we grow and interact with the world. Watching the spots appear is like watching a Polaroid photo develop, a slow, magical process of becoming who we are meant to be. And while some dogs are known for their visual patterns, others are known for their unique voices, or lack thereof. Travel in your mind to the ancient lands of Africa, to the home of the Basenji. This is the barkless dog. Due to the unique shape of their larynx, they cannot produce the sharp, abrasive sound of a bark. Instead, they sing. Visualize a sound that is a cross between a chortle and a yodel, a sound known as a baru. It is a melodic, bubbling noise, like water flowing over smooth stones. Because they do not bark, they move through the world with a cat-like quietness. They are the silent hunters, the quiet companions. Imagine a house where there is no jarring noise, only the occasional soft musical yodel of joy. It is a soothing acoustic reality. The Basenji grooms itself like a cat, wiping its face with its paws, maintaining a fastidious cleanliness. They remind us that communication does not always have to be loud to be effective. Sometimes, a quiet, melodic sound, or simply a presence, is enough to say everything that needs to be said. There are times, however, when a dog needs to analyse a scent so complex that the nose alone is not enough. This is when they engage a secret sense, a bridge between smell and taste. You may have seen a dog stop over a scent, mouth slightly open, teeth chattering gently, perhaps foaming slightly at the lips. They are not distressed. They are using the Jacobson's organ, or the vomeronasal organ. Located just inside the nasal cavity, behind the front teeth, this organ detects pheromones and chemical signals that regular olfactory receptors miss. Visualize the dog drawing air not just into the nose, but pulling it over the roof of the mouth, tasting the chemistry of the atmosphere. They are reading the invisible messages left by other animals, messages of status, of health, of availability. It is a Fleeman response, a look of intense concentration. They are decoding the secret language of the biological world, accessing a layer of information that is completely hidden from us. It is a reminder that the world is filled with invisible narratives, stories written in the air that only the initiated can read. Now, let us turn to the mechanics of pure speed and the moment of flight. Consider the greyhound, a creature built of wind and muscle. When a greyhound runs, they utilize a gait known as the double suspension gallop. It is a movement so fast the human eye can barely track it. But slow it down in your mind. Visualize the dog at full sprint. There are two distinct moments in every stride where all 4 feet are off the ground simultaneously. Once when the body is fully extended, stretched out like a spear, and once when the body is curled underneath, legs tucked tight. In those moments, the dog is not running. The dog is flying. They are hovering over the earth, suspended in a state of weightlessness. For a creature bound by gravity, this rhythmic defiance of the earth is pure ecstasy. Imagine that feeling of suspension, the brief, recurring moment where nothing touches the ground, where you're pure forward motion, untethered and free. It is a rhythm of contact and flight, a hypnotic cycle of release that invites you to find your own moments of weightlessness, where the heavy burdens of the world fall away and you're simply gliding through the ether. Finally, as the dog returns from the run and settles down for the evening, observe how they position themselves in relation to you. They may walk up to where you're sitting and turn around, pressing their rear end against your leg, or sitting with their back to you. In the human world, turning your back can be seen as a snub, but in the language of the dog, it is the ultimate compliment. It is a gesture of profound trust. By turning their back to you, they are saying, "I know you will not harm me." They are exposing their blind spot to you. In the wild, an animal would never turn its back on a potential threat, but you are not a threat. You are the protector. They are also entrusting you with the watch. They are looking outward, guarding the room for both of you, secure in the knowledge that you have their 6. Feel the pressure of that hip nudge, the solid, warm weight of their back against your shin. It is a physical seal of the bond, a way of clicking into place like 2 puzzle pieces. It is a circle of safety where they watch the world, and you watch them, and in that mutual protection, there is a deep, abiding peace that allows both of you to close your eyes and drift into the comforting dark. And from that secure position of the hip nudge, where the spine rests against your leg, we witness the sudden, joyous liberation of energy that often precedes the deepest of slumbers. You may know this phenomenon as the zoomies. Science calls it frenetic random activity periods, or fraps. But in the spirit of the dog, it is a celebration of having a body. Visualize this moment of pure kinetic release. The dog, previously still, suddenly tucks their tail low, eyes wide with a mischievous glint. They take off. They run in a wide, frantic circle, a blur of fur and happiness. They are banking off the sofa, spinning on the rug, moving with a speed that defies the smallness of the room. It is a release of every ounce of stored excitement, a shaking out of the limbs. Imagine the sheer freedom of that movement, the feeling of running simply because you can, the wind rushing past your ears, the muscles firing in a symphony of action. And then, just as quickly as it began, it stops. The dog collapses, chest heaving, tongue lolling, completely spent. This energy dump is a necessary ritual, a clearing of the decks. By expending this burst of kinetic joy, they empty themselves of restlessness, preparing the vessel of the body for a stillness that is absolute and heavy. It invites you to mentally zoom through your own remaining thoughts, letting them spin out and exhaust themselves, so you can collapse into the soft gravity of the mattress. When they do collapse, they often adopt a position that is as amusing as it is comfortable, the sploot. Picture a dog lying on their belly, but instead of tucking their legs underneath them, they stretch their hind legs straight out behind them, like a frog leaping through water or a superhero in flight. This pose is not just a quirk, it is a thermal strategy. The belly of the dog is sparsely haired, the skin thin and close to the ground. By splooting, they are pressing their hottest area against the cool surface of the floor or the earth. Visualize the sensation of that contact, the cool tile or the damp grass drawing the heat out of the body, a grounding conduction that creates a loop of refreshment. It also stretches the hip flexors, releasing the tightness in the lower back. It is a posture of total surrender to gravity. They are maximizing their surface area, becoming one with the floor, refusing to hold a single muscle in tension. Imagine yourself splooting in your mind, stretching your legs out, flattening your spine, and feeling the cool, supportive earth rising up to meet your entire front, holding you securely in place. As they lie there, watching a fly buzz lazily through the room, consider the speed at which they perceive the world. To us, the fly is a blur, a black speck moving too fast to track. But to a dog, the world moves in slow motion. This is known as the flicker fusion rate. The human eye can process about 60 images per second. If a light flickers faster than that, we see a steady beam, but a dog can process roughly 70 to 80 images per second. This means that they see the spaces between the movements. Visualize the fly not as a blur, but as a series of distinct, crisp snapshots. They see the individual beat of the wing, they see the trajectory of the ball as it arcs through the air with agonizing slowness. This explains their miraculous reflexes, their ability to snap a treat out of the air with effortless precision. It is a comforting thought that they live in a slightly stretched version of time. In their reality, the chaotic rush of the world is slowed down, manageable and clear. It invites us to borrow their eyes, to slow down the film reel of our own lives, to see the moments between the moments, and to find the stillness that exists within the motion. Drifting from their vision to the architecture of their scent, let us visit the drooping velvet ears of the bloodhound. These are not merely ears, they are tools of the trade. The skin of a bloodhound is loose and wrinkled, and the ears are exceptionally long, hanging low enough to brush the ground. Visualize the dog tracking a scent through a meadow. As they lower their head, those heavy, silky ears fall forward, creating a curtain on either side of the face. This blocks out the peripheral vision, removing visual distractions, and funnels the air directly into the nose. The ears act as brooms, sweeping the microscopic scent particles up from the grass and swirling them into the nasal cavity. Meanwhile, the wrinkles on the forehead fall forward, creating a hood that traps the scent, holding a pocket of perfumed air around the face. It is a sensory deprivation tank designed for one purpose: focus. By blocking out the sight and sweeping up the smell, the dog enters a trance of concentration. Imagine the comfort of pulling a hood over your own head, blocking out the noise and the light, narrowing your world down to a single comforting thread of focus, following it deeper and deeper into the quiet. This deep connection to the earth and its mysteries has often intertwined the dog with the realm of folklore and magic. Consider the Welsh corgi, the small, sturdy herder of the green hills. Legend tells us that these dogs were the steeds of the fairy folk. If you look closely at the markings on a corgi's back, you might see a darker patch of fur, often shaped like a saddle, positioned perfectly behind the shoulders. Visualize a moonlit glade in an ancient forest, where the air is filled with the chiming of tiny bells. There, darting between the ferns, are the corgis, and riding upon their backs are the spirits of the wood, holding onto the fur. The fairy saddle is a whimsical reminder that these creatures occupy a space between the wild and the domestic, between the mundane and the magical. Even as they sleep at the foot of your bed, they carry the markings of an ancient myth. It suggests that your home is protected not just by a biological animal, but by a creature that has walked through the veil of legends, a guardian who knows the pathways of the dream world and can carry you safely through the forests of the night. On our journey back from the mythical woods, we find ourselves walking along a quiet path with our companion off leash. The dog trots ahead, exploring the scents of the trail, but then, every few minutes, something happens. The dog stops. They turn their head. They look at you. This is the check-in. It is a voluntary act of connection. No command was given. They are simply ensuring that you are still there, that the pack is still intact. Visualize that moment of eye contact across the distance, an invisible elastic band that stretches but never breaks. They are balancing their desire for freedom with their need for your presence. It is a rhythmic reassurance. Run, stop, look, connect. Run, stop, look, connect. It tells you that even in their independence, you are their magnetic north. You are the reference point around which their world revolves. Feel the warmth of that glance, a silent promise that they will never wander too far, that they are always tethered to you by the bond of loyalty. As you get close to the dog, look at the delicate hair sprouting above their eyes. These are the supraorbital whiskers. We often notice the ones on the muzzle, but these eyebrows are equally vital. They serve a protective purpose that is almost tender in its design. Because a dog has a prominent snout, their eyes are often the first thing to encounter tall grass or brush. These whiskers act as an early warning system. The moment a blade of grass or a leaf touches the tip of that whisker, a reflex is triggered, and the eye blinks shut instantly. It happens faster than conscious thought. Visualize walking through a field of tall, swaying wheat. As the stalks brush against your face, your eyes close automatically, shielded by this sensitive radar. It is a mechanism of self-preservation that ensures their vision remains clear and safe. It is a reminder that the body has its own wisdom, its own ways of protecting the delicate parts of us, allowing us to move through the rough textures of the world without fear of injury. Now, watch the dog navigate a sharp turn while running or walking. Their tail is not just a flag of emotion, it is a rudder of physics. When a dog turns quickly to the left, their tail swings hard to the right. It acts as a counterweight, using the laws of physics to prevent them from toppling over. Visualize the grace of this movement, the body leaning into the curve, the tail swinging out to balance the center of gravity. It is the same principle used by a tightrope walker holding a long pole. This counterbalance allows them to move with agility and confidence. It is a beautiful metaphor for balance in our own lives. When we lean hard in one direction, something must shift in the other to keep us upright. The dog's tail is a dynamic stabilizer, a constant adjustment that keeps them grounded even when the world is spinning. Imagine that sense of equilibrium, the feeling of being perfectly balanced, capable of navigating any twist or turn without losing your footing. Let us drift back to the very beginning of life, to the scent of a puppy. If you have ever held a very young puppy and smelled their breath, you know it has a distinct sweet aroma, often described as smelling like milk, herbs, or even sweet coffee. This is known as puppy breath. It is a fleeting phenomenon, lasting only a few months while they're nursing and their biology is brand new. It is the scent of innocence. Visualize holding a small, warm bundle of fur, their tiny chest rising and falling. As they exhale, that sweet, warm scent washes over you. It triggers a deep biological caretaking response in humans. It is the olfactory equivalent of a soft blanket. It smells of new beginnings, of a life that has not yet been touched by the complexities of the world. Breathing in that memory is like inhaling pure peace, a reminder of a time when needs were simple: warmth, milk, sleep, and every moment was held in the gentle hands of a protector. Finally, as the adult dog settles onto the rug for the night, they may roll over onto their back, exposing their soft underbelly to the air and to you. For decades, this was misinterpreted as an act of submission, a plea for mercy. But modern understanding tells us something far more beautiful. When a dog exposes their belly, they're showing you their most vulnerable point. Their vital organs are there, unprotected by bone. To show this to you is the ultimate sign of trust. It is not, "I give up." It is, "I feel safe." They're saying that they know with absolute certainty that you are not a danger. They're inviting affection. Visualize the dog stretching out, paws flopping in the air, the soft skin of the belly rising and falling with deep, relaxed breaths. They are completely unarmed, completely open. It is a posture of total relaxation, inviting you to let your own guard down. Imagine the feeling of being that safe, where you can expose your own heart, your own soft center, to the universe, knowing that you are protected, loved, and held in the warm embrace of the night. And from that posture of absolute vulnerability, where the belly is offered to the sky, the dog often transitions into the deepest state of rest known to their kind, the side sleeping position. Visualize the dog rolling gently from their back onto their flank. The legs, which were suspended in the air or tucked tight, now slide out long and loose across the floor. This is the pose of the dreamer. When a dog sleeps on their side with legs extended, it signifies that they have entered the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, the realm where the muscles completely detach from the mind's command. In the wild, this position would be dangerous, as it takes longer to scramble to their feet. To see a dog sleeping like this in your home is to witness a creature that has forgotten the concept of danger. They have shed the armour of vigilance. Visualize the rise and fall of their ribcage in this position. Long, slow, rhythmic expansions that seem to draw the peace of the room into their lungs and send it back out as tranquility. It is the physical shape of safety, a long horizontal line of trust that grounds the energy of the room, inviting you to stretch out your own limbs and surrender to the horizontal pull of the night. As they settle deeper into this side-sleeping reverie, you may hear a sound that is both comical and deeply soothing, the settling groan. It is not a whimper of pain, but a vocalization of pure relief. Visualize the dog circling, finding the perfect spot, and then collapsing with a heavy thud, followed immediately by a long, low, vibrating groan that emanates from the chest. Ah. This sound is the auditory equivalent of taking off a pair of tight shoes at the end of a long day. It is the sound of the muscles letting go of the bone. The vocal cords, previously taut with the potential for barking, are now slack, and the air passing over them creates this gravelly, contented hum. It is a signal to the rest of the pack, and to you, that the day is officially done. There is nothing left to do. The watch is over. Hearing this groan triggers a sympathetic release in the human chest. It is a permission slip to make your own noise of relief, to let out the breath you've been holding, and to vibrate with the simple joy of stopping. In this quiet intimacy, you might feel a different kind of touch, a small rhythmic nibbling sensation. This is often called corn cobbing, where the dog uses their tiny front teeth, the incisors, to gently chew on a blanket, a toy, or sometimes your arm or sleeve. Visualize the delicate precision of this motion. These teeth are small and sharp, yet the dog controls the pressure with microscopic accuracy, delivering a sensation that is ticklish rather than painful. This is a grooming behaviour, a relic from the whelping box where mothers would groom their puppies to keep them clean and stimulate their circulation. When a dog does this to you, it is an act of profound affection. They are grooming you. They're taking care of you. It is a tactile whisper that says, "You are my family and I am looking after you." Imagine the repetitive, soft nip, nip, nip rhythm, a tiny metronome of care that focuses your attention on the immediate sensation of being loved and tended to. This grooming often transitions into the more familiar sweeping motion of the lick. While we often interpret a dog licking us as a kiss, the biological reality is even more soothing. For the dog, the act of licking releases endorphins and dopamine in their own brain. It is a self-soothing mechanism. Visualize the rhythmic motion of the tongue, rough like wet sandpaper, yet warm and soft. As they lick your hand or their own paws, the repetitive movement acts as a calming mantra. They are lulling themselves into a state of peace. It is not unlike a human rocking back and forth or twisting a ring on a finger. The rhythmic texture of the tongue against the skin creates a focal point, a sensation that anchors both of you in the present moment. If a dog licks your hand before sleep, imagine that they are washing away the stress of the day, dissolving the invisible layers of worry with each pass of the tongue, leaving you clean, calm, and ready for rest. Let us return to the miracle of the nose, but this time, let us explore its stereo capabilities. We know they smell better than us, but did you know they smell in 3 dimensions? The dog's nostrils can function independently of one another. Visualize the air currents in the room. When a scent arrives, perhaps the smell of rain coming through the window, the dog can tell which nostril it hit first, even if the difference is mere milliseconds. This creates a spatial map of smell. They do not just know what is out there, they know where it is. They are wearing olfactory headphones. Imagine navigating the world this way, where every breath paints a directional picture. To the left, the fading scent of the morning coffee. To the right, the fresh ozone of the night air. It is a surround sound experience of the atmosphere. This ability allows them to locate the source of comfort or safety with unerring accuracy, a biological compass that ensures they can always find their way back to the centre, back to you. And observe the engineering marvel of their exhale. When humans breathe out, we blow air directly forward, which would scatter any scent we're trying to investigate. But the dog's nose is designed with side slits, the allofolds. Visualize the breath leaving the dog's nose. It does not rush out the front. Instead, it jets out to the sides in two distinct streams. This creates a negative pressure vacuum in front of the nostrils, actually pulling more new air in toward the centre. It is a continuous loop of intake. They are breathing in a circle. This aerodynamic genius allows them to sniff a spot continuously, without ever blowing the scent away. It is a meditation on disturbing nothing. Even in their investigation of the world, they are designed to leave the object of their attention untouched, moving the air around it rather than against it. It invites us to move through our own lives with similar grace, observing without disrupting, breathing in the essence of the moment without blowing it away with our own force. As we watch them move through the world, let us appreciate the efficiency of the trot. This is the gait of the traveller, the rhythm of the wolf covering miles of tundra. When a dog trots, their legs move in diagonal pairs. Front left and back right move together, then front right and back left. Visualize this motion in slow motion. It is a perfect, balanced cadence. The body remains level, the head steady. Unlike the gallop, which is a series of leaps, the trot is a series of biological pendulums swinging in harmony. It is the most energy-efficient way to move across the surface of the earth. A dog can trot for hours, mile after mile, without tiring. There is a hypnotic quality to watching a dog in this rhythm. The steady tick-tock of the paws, the fluid sway of the back. It is the rhythm of endurance. It reminds us that life is not a sprint, nor is it a frantic race. It is a steady, rhythmic journey, a trot that covers the distance through consistency and balance, carrying us forward one diagonal step at a time. When the journey pauses and the dog comes to rest beside you, you may experience the heaviness of the chin rest. The dog approaches, looks at you with soft eyes, and then drops the full weight of their head onto your knee or your foot. This is not accidental. The head of a dog is heavy, dense with bone and muscle. By placing it on you, they are offering you their weight. They are anchoring themselves to your physical form. Visualize the sensation of that pressure, a warm, solid, living weight that pins you gently to the chair or the bed. It is a request for connection, but also a declaration of trust. They are making themselves vulnerable, limiting their own field of vision, trusting you to be their pillow. Feel that heaviness grounding you, stopping your leg from shaking, stopping your mind from wandering. It is a physical anchor in a drifting world, a heavy, warm promise that says, I am here and I am not going anywhere. If we follow them outside for a moment, to the completion of their rituals, we might witness the backward kick. After a dog has done their business, they will often scratch the earth vigorously with their hind legs, kicking up grass and dirt. This is often mistaken for an attempt to cover the mess like a cat. But it is the opposite. It is an act of creation. The pads of a dog's feet contain scent glands. By scratching the earth, they are releasing pheromones, leaving a chemical signature that is unique to them. They are also creating a visual mark, a disturbance in the soil. Visualize this act not as a mess, but as a signature. They are signing the guest book of the world. I was here, I walked this path, I exist. It is a primal declaration of presence. In a world that often feels transient and fleeting, there is something deeply grounding about this instinct to leave a mark, to scratch the surface of the earth and say, this is my place, and I belong here. Finally, let us contemplate the cycle of the seasons as written in their fur. Twice a year, many dogs undergo a massive shed, blowing their coat. the thick woolly undercoat that protected them through the winter releases coming away in tufts to make way for the lighter summer jacket. Visualize this loose fur drifting away on the wind. It does not disappear, it becomes part of the ecosystem. Birds, sparrows, finches and chickadees swoop down to collect these soft tufts. They weave the dog's fur into the lining of their nests, creating a warm, insulated cradle for their own eggs. It is a beautiful, interconnected cycle. The warmth that once protected your dog now protects the new life of the wild birds. Imagine the spirit of your companion woven into the trees high above the ground, keeping the hatchlings warm in the spring storms. It is a comforting realization that nothing is wasted in nature, that the comfort we provide our dogs eventually ripples out to comfort the smallest creatures of the air, a web of warmth that stretches from the rug in your bedroom to the branches of the ancient oak outside your window. From that delicate connection between the shed fur of the dog and the high swaying branches of the trees, let us lift our gaze further, toward the moon that pulls the tides and lights the path of the night. There is a sound that bridges the gap between the domestic rug and the wild, ancient forest, the howl. While we often associate this sound with loneliness, in the heart of the dog, it is a song of connection. Visualize the physical transformation that occurs when a dog prepares to howl. It is a slow, deliberate elongation of the body. The neck stretches upward, creating a straight line from the chest to the chin, opening the throat to the sky. The mouth forms a perfect O, a resonant chamber designed to project sound across vast distances. This is not a cry of despair, it is a GPS signal made of music. In the wild, wolves howl to assemble the pack to say, "I am here, where are you?" When a dog howls at a passing siren, they are not in pain, they are joining the chorus. They perceive the rising and falling pitch of the siren as another pack calling out, and their instinct demands that they answer. "I am here too, I am part of this." Imagine the vibration of that sound in the room, a mournful, beautiful, soulful note that resonates in the very air, a reminder that even in their sleepiest moments, they are tuned to the frequency of community, always ready to sing their location to those they love. As the echoes of that song fade into the silence, bring your attention back to the intimate geography of their face, specifically to the space between the nostrils. If you look closely, you will see a distinct vertical groove running from the bottom of the nose down to the centre of the lip. This is called the philtrum. It is a feature you likely see every day but rarely contemplate. In the human face, this groove is an embryonic remnant with no function. But in the dog, it is a masterpiece of hydraulic engineering. Visualize a tiny droplet of moisture caught in this groove. Because of the philtrum's shape, it acts as a capillary tube, a natural irrigation canal. It draws moisture from the mouth upward against gravity to keep the nose pad constantly wet. This wetness is essential for dissolving scent particles from the air. The dog is essentially watering its own sensory garden. Imagine this tiny, invisible river of moisture flowing continuously, a silent, microscopic system working tirelessly to ensure that the nose remains cool, damp, and ready to read the story of the world. It is a detail that speaks to the perfection of their design, where even a small crease in the skin serves a vital purpose in their perception of reality. Since we are focused on the mouth and moisture, consider the simple, elemental joy a dog finds in a bowl of fresh water. To us, water is often tasteless, a neutral necessity, but for a dog, water has a flavour profile as rich as a feast. Science has discovered that the tip of a dog's tongue contains special taste buds that are specifically tuned to react to water. These receptors are most active after the dog has eaten salty food or after they have been running. Visualize the chemistry of this moment. As the cool liquid touches the tip of the tongue, it triggers a rush of dopamine, a chemical reward that tells the brain, "This is good, this is life." For them, water is not just hydration, it is a sensory event. Imagine the feeling of a thirst that is perfectly quenched, the way cool water feels washing over a dry throat. When you watch a dog drink, you're witnessing a moment of pure chemical pleasure, a biological celebration of the most basic element of life. It invites you to take a sip of cool water in your own mind, to feel the cleansing, refreshing power of it, and to appreciate the simple, delicious taste of clarity. Drifting down from the mouth to the soft expanse of the belly, there is a tiny, almost invisible mark that connects the dog to the universal history of life. Buried beneath the fur, often just a small flat scar or a swirl of hair, is the belly button. The umbilicus. We rarely think of dogs as having belly buttons because they are not inny or outy like humans. They are flat and faint. But it is there. Visualize this small point on the center of their stomach. It is the physical evidence that they too were once connected to a mother, floating in a warm, dark sea nourished by a lifeline. It connects them to the lineage of all mammals, a silent testament to the fact that none of us arrive in this world alone. We're all born of connection. Finding this small hidden spot on a dog is a tender reminder of their origin story, a humble mark of their beginning that they carry with them throughout their lives, a quiet center point of their physical being. As they stand up from their rest and take that first step across the room, observe which paw they lead with. Just as humans are right-handed or left-handed, dogs possess a trait known as lateralization. They have a dominant paw. Visualize a dog standing at the top of a staircase or reaching out to hold a toy. Research suggests that a significant number of dogs favour their right paw, while others favour their left, and some are ambidextrous. This preference is linked to the hemispheres of their brain. A dog that is left-pawed might be more creative and wary, while a right-pawed dog might be more calm and confident. Watch them in your mind's eye, tapping a ball, opening a door, shaking hands. That deliberate choice of limb is a window into their personality, a hint at how their specific brain is wired. It is a relaxing thought to realize that they are not just identical biological machines. They are individuals with preferences, with a favorite side, with a unique way of reaching out to touch the world. Now, let your gaze wander to the base of the ear, to the outer edge where the ear meets the head. Here, you'll find a small, peculiar slit or pouch in the skin, doubling back on itself. This is the cutaneous marginal pouch, often affectionately called Henry's pocket. For years, this anatomical quirk was a mystery, but structurally it serves to stiffen the ear, allowing it to stand up or fold correctly. More importantly, it acts as a dampener and a tuner for sound. Visualize high-pitched sound waves, the rustle of a mouse in dry leaves, the squeak of a distant gate, travelling through the air. This little pocket helps to capture and attenuate those high frequencies, filtering the sound before it travels down the canal. It is an acoustic adjuster. It allows the dog to flatten their ears against their head efficiently, sealing off the ear canal for protection. Imagine this tiny fold of skin as a masterful piece of origami, a fold of flesh that allows for the incredible range of motion and the acoustic precision that defines their world. It is a small, soft secret, tucked away on the side of the head, waiting to be noticed. Inside that ear, guarding the entrance to the sensitive canal, is a forest of protection. These are the furnishings, the tufts of fur that grow inside the ear. While they can sometimes be ticklish, they serve a vital purpose as a filtration system. Visualize the air filled with dust, pollen, and debris. As the dog runs through the tall grass, these intruders try to enter the ear, but they are caught in the web of the furnishings. These hairs act like the velvet ropes of a museum, keeping the chaos of the outside world from damaging the delicate drums within. They create a soft, muffled barrier. Imagine the feeling of being protected by such a soft shield, where the harshness of the wind and the grit of the earth are kept at bay by a curtain of silk. It is a gentle reminder that they are built with their own defences, designed to move through the messy world while keeping their inner sanctum clean and safe. Let us step outside for a moment into the crisp air of winter. You may have noticed that some dogs, particularly those with golden or light coats, undergo a subtle transformation as the days grow shorter. Their nose, Usually a deep, solid black begins to fade. A pink or brown stripe appears down the centre. This is known as snow nose or winter nose. It is a temporary fading of pigment caused by the breakdown of tyrosinase, an enzyme that produces melanin, which is sensitive to the cold and the lack of sunlight. Visualize the nose as a living thermometer. As the winter deepens and the light changes, the dog's face reflects the season. They are physically attuned to the solar cycle. When the summer sun returns, the enzyme reactivates, and the nose darkens once more to black. It is a slow, rhythmic ebb and flow of colour, a biological tide that rises and falls with the solstices. Seeing a snow nose is a reminder of the deep connection between the animal and the elements, a sign that they are living in harmony with the turning of the year. This connection to the elements is perhaps most joyfully expressed in the phenomenon of the car head. We have all seen a dog leaning out of a car window, ears flapping in the wind, eyes squinting against the breeze. We assume they do this just to feel the wind, but it is actually a sensory overload of the most euphoric kind. Visualize the car moving through space at 60 miles per hour. For us, the scenery blurs. But for the dog, the air is rushing into their nose at a speed that compresses miles of information into seconds. They are inhaling a high-speed data stream. They smell the pine trees, then the burger joint, then the damp earth, then the asphalt, all in a rapid-fire staccato of scent. It is like watching an IMAX movie in fast forward. The sensory input is so vast, so rich, that it creates a natural high. Imagine the feeling of that rushing wind, the absolute thrill of consuming the world at such speed, the joy of being completely immersed in the flow of life. It is a moment of pure, unadulterated now, where the past is behind the bumper and the future is rushing into the nostrils. Finally, as the years pass and the car rides become fewer, we witness the arrival of the grizzled muzzle. It starts as a few stray hairs of silver around the chin, then slowly spreads to the cheeks and the eyes, creating a mask of white or grey. This is not a sign of fading, it is a sign of becoming. In the canine world, the greying muzzle is a badge of honour. It signifies a dog that has survived, that has learned, that has navigated the complexities of the pack and the home. Visualize the dignity of an old dog's face. The contrast of the silver fur against the dark eyes gives them an expression of profound wisdom, like an ancient sage or a dusty librarian of the soul. The fur there is often softer than the rest of the coat, velvet to the touch. Stroking a grizzled muzzle is like touching time itself. It is a testament to all the meals shared, all the walks taken, all the nights spent guarding your sleep. It is the colour of loyalty that has stood the test of time. Let that image of the silver-faced dog bring you a deep sense of peace, the peace of knowing that love does not age, it only grows softer, brighter, and more refined, settling like snow upon the mountain peak. And from that vision of the silver-muzzled sage, resting in the quiet dignity of their years, we drift into a deeper understanding of how they perceive the passage of those years. While we humans are often burdened by the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future, the dog exists in a state of pure, unadulterated presence. This is the gift of the eternal now. Visualize the mind of the dog as a clear, still pool of water. It is not rippled by the stones of yesterday's mistakes or the winds of tomorrow's worries. When a dog sits in the sun, they are not thinking about the walk they missed last Tuesday, nor are they strategizing for the meal that might come tonight. They are simply in the sun. They feel the warmth on their fur, they smell the breeze, they hear the distant bird. That is all. This total immersion in the present moment is a form of living meditation. It is why they are so quick to forgive. If you accidentally step on a paw, the yelp is immediate, but the forgiveness is instantaneous. Once the pain is gone, the memory of the slight dissolves, replaced immediately by the joy of your apology. Imagining this state of mind invites you to shed your own timeline, to unclench your grip on the ticking clock, and to float with them in the weightless, timeless suspension of the now. In this present moment, their primary desire is to be immersed in the essence of you, a desire that manifests in the creation of the laundry nest. You may have found your companion sleeping soundly on a pile of dirty clothes, or discovered a sock carried tenderly to their bed. This is not an act of mischief, it is an act of chemical bonding. Your clothing, particularly the items worn close to the skin, carries the highest concentration of your personal pheromones. To the dog, a worn shirt is not laundry. It is a vivid, aromatic ghost of your presence. By curling up on your discarded clothes, they are surrounding themselves with your scent cloud. Visualize a dog burying their nose into the fabric of a sweater you wore all day. It is a sensory hug. They are building a nest out of your identity. In the wild, pack members sleep in a heap to share scent and warmth. By choosing your clothes over a clean, sterile pillow, they are choosing the comfort of the pack. It is a messy, beautiful reminder that to them, your scent is the most comforting perfume in the world, a fragrance that spells safety and belonging. As they move from that nest of scent to greet you, listen closely to the specific music of their approach, the chime of the collar. Every dog carries a unique sonic signature, a rhythmic jingling of metal tags against one another. This sound is the wind chime of the household. Visualize the acoustics of this sound in a quiet house. Ching 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 ching. It is a high-frequency sparkle that cuts through the silence, announcing their movement before they arrive. Over time, your brain has tuned itself to this specific frequency. You can distinguish the sound of your dog's collar from any other dog on the street. It has become an auditory anchor of home. When the house is dark and you're drifting off, that faint rhythmic jingle from the hallway is a lullaby of security. It tells you that the guardian is on patrol, that the spirit of the house is active and well. Let that imaginary chime ring softly in your mind, a clear silver bell that signals all is well in your world. Drifting closer to the physical form of the dog, let your hand travel down the front leg to the inner wrist. Here, suspended above the paw, is a singular, curious digit, the dew claw. It is the thumb that never touches the ground. This small claw is a relic of their evolutionary past, a time when their ancestors climbed trees and navigated rough, vertical terrain like cats. While it may seem useless now, loosely attached and floating, it serves a hidden function during high-speed turns. When a dog runs and banks hard, the leg bends and the dew claw makes contact with the earth, acting as a cleat to provide traction and prevent torque on the leg. Visualize the ancient history encoded in this tiny bone. It is a connection to the miacids, the tree-dwelling ancestors from millions of years ago. Touching this small vestigial thumb is like touching a biological artifact, a reminder that your soft, sleeping companion carries the blueprint of a wild, climbing hunter deep within their anatomy. Move your hand from the leg up to the chest and bury your fingers in the thick, luxurious fur of the ruff. Many breeds, even those with short hair, possess a thicker, coarser band of fur around the neck and throat. This is the lion's mane of the dog world. Visualize the texture of this fur. It is often denser, more wiry, and deeper than the silkiness of the flank. This ruff is a shield, designed by nature to protect the vital jugular vein during play and conflict. But for us, it is a place of tactile grounding. When you scratch a dog deep in the ruff, you can feel the loose, thick skin moving over the muscle. It is a place of immense satisfaction for the dog, a hard-to-reach spot that triggers a groan of pleasure. Imagine the sensation of your fingers sinking into this deep, warm carpet of fur, feeling the heat radiating from the skin beneath, a zone of softness that protects the most vulnerable part of their throat, inviting you to offer a scratch that bridges the gap between protector and protected. From the throat, a sound emerges that is often misunderstood, yet deeply relaxing once known: the pleasure rumble. It is not a growl, though it shares the same deep, gravelly frequency. It is the canine equivalent of a purr. Visualize a Rottweiler or a large shepherd being rubbed vigorously behind the ears. The eyes close, the head drops, and from deep within the barrel of the chest, a low, vibrating hum begins. Rumble. It is a sound that is felt as much as it is heard. Unlike a warning growl which is accompanied by tension and bared teeth, the pleasure rumble is soft, loose, and rhythmic. It is the sound of a being vibrating with contentment. It is a resonance of pure joy, a bass note of happiness that travels through their body and into your hand. Let that low, steady vibration soothe you, a heavy, grounding sound that speaks of a creature entirely at peace with the touch of your hand. Often, this desire for sensory experience leads them to the outdoors, to the peculiar and ancient ritual of scent rolling. You watch as the dog finds a specific spot in the grass, drops a shoulder, and slides their entire body across the earth, legs kicking at the sky, wriggling with ecstatic focus. To the human eye, they're just getting dirty. But to the dog, they are putting on a disguise. They're anointing themselves with the scent of the wild, perhaps the musk of a fox, the earthiness of damp moss, or the smell of decay. In the wild, this masks their own scent from prey. But in the safety of the modern world, it is a form of storytelling. They are collecting a souvenir. Visualize the sheer joy of that movement, the back scratching against the texture of the earth, the spine twisting, the face rubbing into the green blades of grass. They are trying to become one with the environment, to wear the story of the meadow on their coat. It is a celebration of the olfactory world, a desire to carry the essence of the outdoors back into the den, wearing the perfume of nature like a badge of honor. When they return from the wild and settle beside you, they may reach out with a single front limb and hook it around your arm or rest it heavily on your hand. This is the paw of possession. It is distinct from a shake or a high five. It is a static, heavy placement. Visualize the weight of that paw. The pads are warm and rough. The claws are retracted. By placing their paw on you, they are engaging in a reciprocal petting. You pet them, and they, in their own limited way, are petting you back. They are maintaining physical contact to ensure you do not leave. It is a gesture of claiming, "This human is mine." It is a silent request for attention, a heavy, anchoring touch that demands you stop what you're doing, stop typing, stop scrolling, and simply be with them. Feel the warmth of that paw on your forearm, a bridge of bone and fur that connects their nervous system to yours, quieting your restless hands. As the stillness deepens and sleep finally claims them, the silence of the room may be broken by a rhythmic, resonant sound, the snore. While in humans this can be a nuisance, the snore of a dog is often a white noise of comfort. Visualize the source of this sound, the relaxation of the soft palate, the deep, uninhibited vibration of the throat. It is the audio signal of a complete lack of vigilance. A snoring dog is a dog that feels entirely safe. They are not listening for predators. They are not keeping one ear cocked. They have surrendered entirely to the heavy gravity of sleep. The sound is often rhythmic, a steady honk shoo that creates a metronome for the night. For many, this sound is the lullaby of a full house. It signifies that the sentry is off duty, that the fires are banked, and that the only thing prowling the house is the spirit of rest. Let the vibration of that snore hum in your mind, a rough, cozy sound that wraps around you like a heavy wool blanket. Finally, look closely at the sleeping face, specifically at the eyes. Framing those closed lids are the eyelashes. We often think of eyelashes as a human vanity, yet dogs possess them, and in some breeds they are spectacularly long, sweeping and elegant. Visualize the curve of a cocker spaniel's lashes, long enough to brush against their cheeks. These are not for beauty. They are sensitive feelers, similar to whiskers, designed to trigger a blink reflex if dust or debris comes too near the eye. But in repose, they cast long, delicate shadows against the fur. They soften the face. Looking at the eyelashes of a sleeping dog is an intimate act. It brings you close to their fragility. You see the delicate biological details that make up this sturdy creature. Imagine the gentle flutter of those lashes as the dog dreams, a tiny butterfly movement on the landscape of their face. It is a detail of exquisite tenderness, a reminder of the soft, intricate life that pulses quietly beside you, waiting to open its eyes and greet you once more when the sun returns. And moving your gaze upward from the delicate flutter of those lashes, your hand might come to rest on the very summit of the dog's head, between the ears. Here, you may discover a pronounced bony dome, a ridge that feels like a small hill beneath the fur. This is the occiput, known in folklore as the knowledge bump. For centuries, storytellers and breeders believed that a prominent occiput was the mark of a superior intellect, a sign that the dog possessed a vast library of scents and commands stored within the vault of the skull. While modern science tells us it is an anchor point for the powerful jaw muscles, the romance of the knowledge bump remains. Visualize your fingers tracing this ancient contour. It is the keystone of the head, a solid protective helmet that guards the brain. Feeling this hard, bony structure reminds us of the durability of the creature. It is a tactile connection to their stubbornness, their persistence, and the rock-solid nature of their devotion. It invites you to rest your hand there, cupping the crown of their head, acknowledging the silent wisdom contained within that skull. A wisdom that does not speak in words, but in the perfect, silent understanding of your mood. Sliding your fingers down from the crown, past the forehead, you arrive at the bridge of the nose where the muzzle meets the skull. In most dogs, there is a distinct dip or angle here, a sudden slope known as the stop. This architectural feature is one of the key differences between the domestic dog and their wolf ancestors. The wolf has a sloping aerodynamic profile, a straight line from brain to nose, but humans, in our ancient desire for companionship, favoured dogs with a more defined stop. Why? Because this angle changes the shape of the face, making the eyes appear larger and more forward-facing. It mimics the facial structure of a human infant. Visualize the profile of a boxer or a bulldog, where the stop is deep and profound. This evolutionary sculpting has created a face that triggers our deepest nurturing instincts. When you look at that dip in the nose, you are seeing the physical evidence of humanity's influence, a biological moulding of the wolf into a being that asks to be held, to be cared for, and to be loved like a child. And gazing into those eyes that the stop frames so perfectly, notice the colour. While the wolf stares out at the frozen tundra with piercing amber-yellow eyes, predatory and intense, the dog looks at you with eyes of rich, warm brown. This shift in colour is not an accident of genetics. It is a gift of evolution. Studies suggest that over thousands of years, dogs evolved darker irises because humans found the softer, darker gaze less threatening and more empathetic. Visualize the depth of a dark brown eye, like a pool of melted chocolate or deep, fertile earth. It absorbs the light rather than reflecting it aggressively. It invites you in. This warmth in their gaze is designed specifically to melt the human heart, to create a pool of connection that feels safe and welcoming. It is a biological hue chosen for friendship. When you stare into those dark eyes, you're looking at a colour palette painted by the history of love itself, designed to make you feel seen and safe. Continuing down the neck, your hand finds the loose, elastic skin at the nape, known as the scruff. In an adult dog, this skin is covered in thick fur, but beneath the surface it retains a memory of their earliest days. Visualize a mother dog gently picking up her wayward puppy by this loose folds of skin. It is a handle designed by nature for transport and correction. When a puppy is lifted by the scruff, a reflex is triggered. They go limp, surrendering completely to the guidance of the mother. Even in a full-grown dog, a gentle massage of the scruff can induce a state of deep, regression-like relaxation. It taps into that primal memory of being held, of being carried to safety. Imagine the sensation of that thick, loose skin rolling between your fingers. It is a tactile reminder that no matter how big or dignified they become, they remain, at their core, someone's puppy, carrying the cellular memory of being lifted out of harm's way and placed into the warmth of the nest. As your stroke continues down the spine, you might notice that when the dog hears a strange noise or feels a sudden surge of emotion, the hair along the ridge of their back stands up. These are the hackles, and the phenomenon is called piloerection. We often associate this with aggression, a sign of a dog ready to fight. But in truth, the hackles are simply a barometer of intensity. A dog can raise their hackles when they are overjoyed, when they are surprised, or when they are deeply interested in a new scent. It is an involuntary reaction, controlled by the sympathetic nervous system, much like goosebumps in humans. Visualize the tiny muscles at the base of each hair follicle contracting in unison, lifting the fur into a jagged ridge, a mohawk of emotion. It is the physical manifestation of an adrenaline rush. Seeing the hackles rise is like watching the dog's aura become visible, a spiky electric signal that their spirit is fully engaged, fully awake, and vibrating with the intensity of the moment. Moving down the front legs to the point of the elbow, you may encounter a patch of skin that feels different from the rest, tough, hairless, and leathery. This is the elbow callus. To the uninitiated, it might look like a flaw, but it is actually a badge of rest. It forms because the dog loves to lie on hard, cool surfaces, the kitchen tile, the concrete patio, the hardwood floor. Over years of dropping their heavy body down to sleep, the skin thickens to protect the bone beneath. Visualize the formation of this callus, layer by layer, a protective shield built from thousands of naps. It is the armor of the sleeper. It tells the story of a life spent seeking the cool comfort of the earth. Touching that rough grey skin is touching the history of their relaxation, a testament to all the hours they have spent lying at your feet, guarding the ground, solidified into a patch of protective leather. Drifting further back along the body, observe the silhouette of the dog's waist, the area just before the hind legs. In many breeds, particularly those built for speed like the greyhound or the whippet, there is a dramatic upward curve of the underline, known as the tuck-up. This anatomical feature is the secret to their explosive speed. It allows the hind legs to reach far forward beneath the body, acting as a coiled spring that propels them through the air. Visualize the aerodynamics of this shape, the deep chest for large lungs, tapering to the slender, muscular waist. It is a design of pure efficiency, minimizing drag and maximizing stride. Even in a sleeping dog, the tuck-up is a reminder of their potential energy. It is the visual tension of an arrow resting on the bowstring. It invites you to admire the sleekness of their design, a body that is carved by the wind, ready to slice through the air in a blur of joyful motion, yet currently at rest, the spring coiled and quiet. When that potential energy is released in a social setting, notice how a dog approaches a friend. They rarely walk in a straight line, head on. Instead, they curve their body. This is the greeting curve. In the language of dogs, a direct frontal approach is rude, confrontational, a challenge. To show peace, to show friendship, a dog will bend their spine into a C or U shape, offering their side, wiggling their hips. Visualize this kidney bean shape, the body curving like a smile. It is an act of polite deference. They are making themselves soft, round, and non-threatening. Imagine the social grace of this movement, a dance of curves and arcs that says, "I come in peace, I mean no harm." It is a lesson in softness, a visual reminder that sometimes the best way to meet the world is not with a rigid head-on collision, but with a gentle curve, a yielding grace that invites connection rather than conflict. In the midst of this greeting, you might hear a sound that is neither a bark nor a growl. It is a strange, modulated vocalization, a series of woo-woo-woos or grumbles that sound eerily like human speech. This is most common in huskies and vocal breeds, often called talking. Unlike the bark, which is a sharp, percussive alarm, talking is a melodic attempt at conversation. The dog is manipulating their vocal cords to mimic the cadence and tone of your voice. Visualize the dog looking you in the eye, mouth forming an O and releasing these tumbling soft sounds. They are trying to bridge the linguistic gap. They are expressing complex emotions, excitement, frustration, affection, through a stream of consciousness sound. It is a charming, clumsy attempt at language, a desire to participate in the human ritual of speaking. Listen to the cadence of it in your mind, a bubbling, joyful monologue that requires no translation, for the meaning is always, inevitably, I am here with you. Finally, let our journey take us to the very tips of the toes, to the claws that click against the floor. If you look at a dog's nail, especially a light-coloured one, you will see a pink core suspended inside the hard, translucent shell. This is the quick. The quick is the living heart of the nail. It is a bundle of blood vessels and nerves, a sensitive antenna encased in keratin. It is why we must be so careful when trimming their nails. Visualize this delicate inner structure, a tiny, pulsating vessel of life hidden within the armour of the claw. As the nail grows, the quick grows with it, extending its reach. It is a reminder that even the hardest parts of us have a sensitive core. It teaches us that strength and sensitivity are not opposites, they are concentric layers. The hard outer shell protects the tender inner life. Imagine the dog walking on these tips, carrying their sensitivity with them every step of the way, a hidden vulnerability that touches the earth 1,000 times a day, protected, safe, and alive. And finally, we arrive at the deepest truth, the secret that lies at the very heart of the bond between the human and the dog. It is a fact that transcends biology, transcends evolution, and touches the hem of the spiritual. It is the realization that the dog is the only being on this earth that loves you more than they love themselves. Consider the magnitude of this reality. In the wild, the primary directive of every living thing is survival, self-preservation above all else. But the dog has rewritten this ancient law. Over 30,000 years of walking beside us, they have edited their own genetic code to place your life above their own. Visualize the depth of that devotion. It is a love that has no conditions. They do not care about your status, your wealth, your mistakes, or your past. They do not judge your failures. They do not hold grudges for your bad days. To them, you are simply the sun around which their universe spins. When a dog looks at you, they are holding up a mirror, but it is a magic mirror. It does not reflect your flaws or your insecurities. It reflects only your kindness, your warmth, your potential. They see the best version of you, the version you often forget exists. They are the silent witnesses to your life, keeping the archives of your quietest moments. The tears shed in the dark, the laughter in the kitchen, the long sighs of the evening. They hold all of these secrets in the vault of their hearts, protected by a loyalty that is absolute. To be loved by a dog is to be constantly reminded that you are worthy of love simply because you exist. It is the ultimate comfort, a profound, unshakable anchor in a chaotic universe, telling you that no matter how far you drift, you are never, ever alone. You're the center of a living, breathing solar system of affection, and that gravity will hold you safe forever. Now, let this profound realization settle over you like a heavy, warm quilt. The journey through the senses, the history and the heart of the dog is complete. The fire in the ancient cave has burned down to glowing embers, casting a soft orange light against the walls of your mind. The sounds of the forest have faded into a gentle rhythmic hum, a vibration that matches the slow, deep beating of your own heart. Picture the great indigo ocean we began with. The water is glass still, reflecting the starlight of the dog star, Sirius, burning bright and blue in the heavens above. You're floating on this water, weightless and free. Beside you, on this raft of dreams, rests the spirit of the companion. Feel their warmth radiating against your side, a steady furnace of peace. Hear their breath, slow, deep, and rhythmic, sinking perfectly with the rise and fall of the tide. In and out, in and out. Every muscle in your body is loose, heavy, and melting into the support beneath you. The tension in your jaw has dissolved. The weight on your shoulders has vanished into the mist. There is nothing left to learn tonight. There is nothing left to watch. The guardian is at the foot of the bed. The sentry is at the door, and the stars are watching overhead. You're protected by a lineage of loyalty that stretches back to the dawn of time. You're held in the paw of the universe. Let your mind drift away from the words, drifting further and further out into the silent velvet sea. The shore is gone. The world is gone. There is only peace. There is only the soft dark. There is only the love that watches over you. And now, 101 wonders are resting with you. Sleep now. Good night.